My name's Robert Mitchell. I'm the Central Kansas Local Environmental Planning Group.
Okay.
And, I took over Dan's position here about a year ago. I know Harry's been down visiting with you folks a little bit, so I wanted to come down and introduce myself and then let you folks know that, last year we actually downed the fees for the county, and this year we're going to ask for that same amount. We're not looking for any more. Our budget from the state got cut, completely eliminated. We saw this coming forward last year, so the board went through and made some adjustments and changed a few things. And that's why we asked, different figures from some of the counties last year, and we're seeing that it's working that way. So we're hoping to be able to stay, sustain ourselves with just the county contributions and our permit fees. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But we have a few things here. I have to apologize too. On the very last page, you'll see that I put numbers on there. I got a copy for you too when I left. So, what we did is we sent these letters out last year, and we haven't. We've had some counties, come to us this year with the state budget being cut, and they're in negotiations with us now on a few things. So we're hoping to be able to pick up one or two more counties to add to our coalition, and if we can do that, then we're seeing our county contributions actually dropping. With the counties that have been with us for as many years as they have been. So. The map there that we're looking at, we're actually number 4 is ours. We've had Hodgman County, Lane County, Trigo County visit with us. We were in negotiations or doing some visiting with Kiowa County, but Kiowa County has opted to go ahead and stay with the coalition they had. We thought the 3 counties that were there were going to actually separate, but they were able to pull enough funding together there to keep those 3 together on that part of it. So, on there. And how we came up with the funding last year was we just took an average buy-in or a base rate and then did it by population count. And that's kind of how they came up with it. And we're seeing with the permit fees that we raised a little bit last year, and then with the county contributions this year was our first full year doing it this way. And seemed to work out pretty well for us on that part of it. And then this is where I need to apologize. Up on the top left-hand corner of the I put Edwards County. When I went in this morning to type all this up, I thought I had changed that, and I noticed it when I walked up in here. I didn't. But these are actually the Stafford County hours, and these hours they went from September of last year to the 15th of June. So we've still got a few more months there, to total up our hours for the year on there. And I will tell you that water well permits the last month in Stafford County has just gone through the roof. I'd say for this last 15 days, I'm averaging probably 2 a day in Stafford County. I think a lot of it's because of the drought. A lot of the farmers are looking for water well permits for stock tanks, and so it's just going nuts right now. So.
Now, do you do cities as well?
We just actually, the city of St. John has just actually adopted our code, our county codes, and they did that, I believe, Wednesday of last week would have been the final day on that. On that part of it. And we're doing it now just kind of as we're bringing it in. Normally, like Ness City, some of our larger cities and some of our other counties, they adopted the county codes, when they first came out. For some reason, St. John did. And as of now, I believe it was as of last Wednesday, I may be wrong on my date, as of last Wednesday it was publicized in the paper, and I got a call, I think it was Thursday or Friday, from Mel saying that it's now official. So St. John will be adopted our county codes as well. So
Now, you don't do irrigation wells?
No, sir, irrigation well falls under KDHE, and then there's another company that it's a business that takes care of that now. We just take care of water wells for your livestock, domestic, lawn and garden, and your oil field wells is what we permit for with our group.
And waste systems too, right, as far as septic systems?
Yes, and septic tanks and lagoons and sanitation, you know, for your home. So we're seeing a lot of that. I did our drive out last week with Zoe here in town, and we went and looked at the systems that applied for the cost share part of the program. So we went out and did that last week as well. And so we'll start getting into our real busy part of the year now with that part of it.
Okay, so you're requesting $6,050 now.
So we actually dropped yours last year. Let's see, Stafford County would be, we actually lowered it, so it's gonna be $6,394.50.
Okay.
And the old amount was $64.43. How they changed some of that was they came out with that base buy-in, and then they had the population on there, so.
Okay. So you took Dan Curtis's place?
Dan Brown?
Dan Brown.
I took his position. Dan went to work for KDHE up in the Hayes area, is where he's at now. So he's actually still on my speed dial on my phone, that's for sure.
So you work through Zoe, that's.
Yeah, Zoe.
She's our.
Yeah, Zoe's one of the, when they do the cost share program for the septic systems or water well, for some of the programs there, they have to have us in effect, you know, to come out and do their final inspections to approve that cost share part of it.
And that money comes from the state then for those?
I believe so, that comes from the state, I'm 99% sure.
See, you guys are independent of each other.
Yes, we are. No, we're independent. In order for Zoe, in order for the NRCS office to get the cost share program, there needs to be an inspector there. So it's got to be separate from, you know, from that part of it. So, and that just helps them. Now we also take care of the sanitation codes for the county, whether it's a new home or an existing home that's putting in a new system. We come out and design the systems for them and make sure they're up to state and county codes on that part of it. Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Better. And try to stay cool.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa.
I would like to call for an executive session for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel.
5 minutes? Make a motion, executive session for 5 minutes for the elected personnel.
I'll second it.
See what our pre-postal machine will do?
It's been moved and seconded that we go into executive session for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I'd like to present an amended budget to you. Second.
I was calling it revised.
Okay, revised. That's good. That works.
Okay.
And just on the assumption of looking in the future, if things don't get better in the office, of us being able to get our work done. I'm hoping that it will get better with the state. Like I said to you, that we'll just have to, I'm just trying to prepare in case it doesn't, so. Any more questions? Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, I got it. No, I don't have any more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
Morning, Steve.
Good morning. Morning, Steve.
Busy weekend. Busy weekend. About, I think we're on our cruise on the 9th call from Friday night. Friday night till now, with 9 medic calls and 5 fire calls, so we've been busy. The first thing I wanted to visit was on fireworks. Everybody around us has been in fireworks. And I don't know what your guys' perspective
I
is
had
on it.
called, I think Judge Allwards, I had called too, but out in the county even considered the fire because they're concerned with the stubble, with so dry as it is, my God, it started,
It's dry.
it had to go right across everywhere, and I agree with that. And about the dry condition, maybe it's having burned down the county. I mean, it's just, that would, county burned bad, that doesn't take care of the cities over with it.
I don't think it does. I think cities can still be.
I was all in great big paper about everybody around, it's had shut down all their fireworks, Great Barton County has, and Claflin and Elmwood, and all the way around us.
You know, about the only thing we could do, I don't know about, I know there's a couple of them that do displays that might have a safe enough surrounding that they, if they, maybe even if they had a fire truck standby along with inspection and.
Right, something like it had all contained in one place or something.
Correct.
They was
But I
talking
think-
about it yet out the Expo Center, I think maybe you haven't read, I've seen it on the news, but then I read in the Great Bend paper yesterday, they were considered about abandoning the whole thing and just shutting it all down till.
It's certainly
Because
not.
it's such a tinderbox, and then all the fires they've had up in Barton County, they said, my gosh, they're just one call after another, you know, right now.
My concern mostly is that everybody around us has banned and that all of their folks that want to shoot the fireworks would just come out in the country and it's not so much that we have a small enough populace that I think that most of them would probably do the right thing and even be safe, but I'm concerned about other folks coming on over on our side and shooting fireworks off along the roadways and stuff. It's mighty dry. So I don't know what your pleasure is. I mean, we can do whichever you decide. I know folks buy a lot of fireworks and
Yeah.
they kind of want.
Well, they said they weren't discouraging my Barton County from buying the fireworks, they don't want to run the vendors out of business, people sell, but maybe even postpone, I mean, I know it's not the 4th of July, but it said maybe people celebrate the families anyhow, and wait till you get some, and get some rain, or hopefully sometime down the road, and then, but let them go ahead and shoot your fireworks then, I guess, with the kids. I don't want to take away from the kids, I shot firecrackers all my life and everything else, and I've grown up. But
Well,
the
and the other part
safety
of
of the
it is
community
that-
is something I have to look at too.
Right, and you know, the other part of it is just, even the surrounding counties, you know, they waited off a long time. And if you're gonna do that, you probably ought to do it early, but
Well, it's-
now that all of our surrounding folks have done it, it's kind of,
Well, who's done it?
Pawnee, Barton.
Really?
Yeah. And all.
When did they do this? 'Cause that's
Well,
what
Actually, one of them, Barton, unless they changed their mind, which they got some rain out there, so maybe they will have changed their mind, but they were, their fire chief called me, just to give me a
Yeah,
heads
they're
up.
supposed to address it this morning, I've seen the paper.
This morning, they were supposed to address it, so
Yeah,
unless they got
I know
rain.
the city did, but I talked to the Pratt commissioners, Pratt County hasn't, Pawnee County hasn't, Edward County hasn't, and Barton County had not as of Friday.
I think they were gonna do it Monday.
Well, everybody's gonna talk about it today.
Yeah. So it's up to you guys. I mean, the biggest concern I had is if everybody around us did it, and then it just kind of pushes everybody over towards our
That's a
direction.
good point. I was worried about Barton County doing it. I knew the city was, but the county, I don't know that they've actually made a decision.
How are you gonna police it too?
That's the other problem. I don't
It's
know
so
that you're
late.
gonna, I don't know that you're gonna police it. I don't know.
This late in the game, I think
It's-
it's pretty.
Well, it's late in the game for one, too. That's what this, the city council at Great Bend tonight, they passed theirs just this last week, and And they had some, even the vendors there that said, you know, they understood and stuff, but, you know, they didn't want to be selling stuff that's gonna cause, and, you know, a lot of problems, a lot of fires and stuff, and they're in agreement, you know, you get postponed another time. I know it's not still not the 4th of July, but rather than run the risk of having something, even
Folks have
nothing goes on a roof. Pardon?
I said, there's no, probably no doubt this late, the folks have caught them,
Oh, I'm sure.
so they'll have them.
Well, they're already shooting them in Maxville. So,
So, I mean, and that's another thing I have, you know,
they
to
can
visit
start
with you
here
is that,
tomorrow.
you know, what I instituted was no burning right now unless they call and we go and check it out. And yet I had Troy Waters, he called in and wanted to do it, and he said, well, I didn't get a copy of the tape this morning because Regine's out, but pretty much from what I understand, he asked, well, what if it just magically catches on fire, and lo and behold, it did.
That's frustrating.
It's real frustrating, because we're just trying to be the, you know, the protectors of the adjoining folks.
Right, that's the whole thing. That's this individual I had called requirements, his concern, you know, this, as dry as it start across something in that snowfield, they can just go for miles and miles and miles of sparks and then.
We had, well, we had paged out the whole county, all the fire departments for 4 large fires Saturday night. Well, real late, like 2 o'clock in the morning, when the storm came through, and lightning. It ended up being 2 large fires, but it's dry.
But
So-
it's no drier than it was last year at this
No.
Thursday.
No, I'm not in,
And we, I mean, we got along okay, I'm not saying that, you know, you guys don't.
it's gonna be dry at this time of the year every year.
Not as dry as these last couple of years, so I hope not. Man, we'll keep it like that, it's,
It'll be much less.
You know, my recommendation would be that if you don't go to the point of instituting a burn ban, that you really put the message out to all the property owners to really keep an eye out for, you know, folks that normally wouldn't be driving up and down their roads, and to check it out if they do.
What is it you're asking for?
I'm just saying, citizen-wide awareness of, you know, if you don't have any business being in a certain area, then we need to make sure that we're awful vigilant and that we're not getting folks coming over here to shoot fireworks around the roadways and
Right.
lighten up the daggone countryside because they decided they couldn't burn over their neighborhood.
Wait, confused, you said a burn ban?
No, I said if we wasn't gonna do a burn ban, that at least we put out a message to the public that keep an eye on
Well, I
things.
think we can have a burn ban, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I said burn ban, a fireworks ban is what I said.
That's why
I
I
mean,
was confused.
The burn ban, back to the burn ban, because I was talking about both in the same, you know, a lot of them are doing that, but, you know, there's some things, and that's what I want to be reasonable, is, and I've told folks, even this person was told, we'll come out and take a look at it, and if it is indeed,
It's not me.
just,
I should turn that down.
that's-
So you're not asking for a burn ban because you,
No.
basically you're saying don't burn unless you talk to us anyhow.
Right.
Which I think is a much better approach.
Right.
Because there are maybe times when they could burn, but you just want to make sure it's safe. I think that's very reasonable.
That's right.
I don't think that anybody's
That's
got a
right.
problem with that.
Some do.
I know,
They
I
just
understand.
go right on and burn anyhow.
No, and that's frustrating, as I said, but I think that's a very reasonable approach. As far as banning the fireworks, I don't know, I think they're overreacting in Great Bend, and it's causing everybody else grief personally.
You know, that certainly it is a concern when others start doing it, and it kind of puts pressure on
Absolutely.
Well,
us.
Hoiston's doing it too, Hoiston and Claflin, Great Bend, and Ellsworth County got theirs on. It's just not just one, there's a whole bunch of towns around there.
You're kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
It's no great,
I agree.
there's no great answer. to
Fourth
it.
of July, it's just kind of bad timing, but
You know, you do, and everything goes good, then you're okay. If you don't, then a bunch of crazies go out there and start a bunch of fires, and everybody backseat quarterback that even maybe wouldn't have said anything, would argue the other side in the beginning, now they're lining up to throw stones afterwards, so it's not an easy deal. That's why I'm bringing it to you guys.
No, that's our world, isn't it? But I guess my opinion is we were just as dry last year. I think,
We can stand ready and,
but I think,
Well,
you know,
put 'em out.
like you're saying, making the public as aware as possible, and also putting out the word that, you know, there are counties, other people may be coming in, keep your eyes out, open. That's all very good advice.
I think if the cities do a bird ban
You know, fireworks.
and have fireworks, then the county should.
yeah.
Is the city contemplating
I
that?
haven't heard it from the city, I don't know, but it's next year.
They approved
Sometimes with the-
fireworks tomorrow
and
and
the 4th.
on the 4th.
I know what some towns will do is they'll put a few more people, but we don't have that many people on paid status anyhow, but sometimes, you know, the bigger cities, even when they have things like this, they'll just staff up and put a few more people, and I don't know if you know, we're even limited in sheriff's officers, but you could possibly put another deputy on during the evening. That would be kind of an in-between approach, you know, you're kind of taking a more visual.
The
way to
staff
address it.
considering a ban?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they're worried about us and what we're doing and whether it would impose on them. And I told Chief Brown I didn't believe that our decision would have anything really to do with them, other than the fact that just more or less like what Martin's does when the folks around us, it just starts putting a squeeze on us to.
Because my thoughts is if the city puts a fireworks ban on, and it'll drive them out of the town to the
Exactly.
county, and then yes, then we should as well. But my thoughts are that if they're doing them in the city, maybe they'll stay in the city and not go out in the countryside.
That would be the.
I think a good thing, very.
And from what I've been told, there's none of our cities that have said no. And if they had, then we'd certainly probably have
Yes,
to take steps.
yes.
I would agree with that.
I didn't know the city they've already got theirs set and approved, I guess it's going to be
Yeah,
pretty soon.
isn't it the 3rd and 4th?
That's what
For
Ronald
here.
told me, third and fourth.
But I know Maxville's been
Two
too
days.
long
Yeah,
there
you got
since
2
the
days.
there.
Uh,
So, I'm not sure about Stafford. Is it just the 4th in Stafford?
Legally, yes.
Yeah, Maxville, they've been doing it for a week.
That's my thoughts.
I think I agree with Clayton, but if they do, then I think we should too. I mean,
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
As long as the cities
And
are
hope that
doing it,
people are
I really think
responsible.
we're doing it right.
Because I know on the news last night in Wichita, there was a house burned because someone had disposed of something in a trash can next to the house. And it's a total loss.
Now, are you talking all the cities, or like Stafford does it, and St. John and Maxville doesn't do it? I mean, how are we doing this?
I would say all the cities.
All the cities being the big three, the top three population ones.
Does Radium and Hudson and Seward have?
Do they do fireworks?
They don't have any organized
But the
efforts
people,
anymore. And they allow it as far as I know. I haven't heard any different, so. As far as I know.
All right, I'll be sure to give you a call if I hear anything, and I'll check with all the cities, just to make sure that there's anything pending. The next thing would just be and I can bring that tape if you'd like next week, but what I'd like to do on the fellow that, we ended up having to send Tom Fisher, because he's station chief too, but we ended up having to get him to make a drive out there and check it out, and the burn that we're talking about. And we've got a policy where we can institute at least a minimal fine that just kind of covers the cost of somebody's wages to have to go out there and check it out. And that would be, my recommendation is that we at least invoke that. Otherwise, we're encouraging, just go ahead and do it, and there's no penalty.
I see Great Bend had $1,000 fine, we got to impose on that.
Ours is very minimal until you keep doing it. It's more of an attention-getting thing. And I set it low for a reason. I didn't want to have us be hesitant to invoke it when it's proper.
Right.
And when it's $1,000, you're a little squeamish to invoke that, but this one wouldn't be any more than sending him a response fee to cover the wages of the person that had to go out there and check it out. Or if we had sent trucks, but we didn't send trucks, we just sent Tom.
Which is like how much?
It probably wouldn't be much more than, no more than $100. It'd probably be less than that.
So he called in and
Or less didn't want to wait
and you said,
They said, well,
we'll come out and
why don't
look,
you just come?
but it didn't, that wasn't good enough. He let the
and that was the dispatcher telling him that, and he just went ahead and just let. And we try to get out there, but there's only so many of us, and when we're running all of these simultaneously, we don't,
What was so important that had to be burnt? What, was he farming and needed to burn stubble, or?
I don't, it was stubble, that's what it was, but I don't know what the need to burn it right away was. I don't know.
Could have been wanting to double crop, plant crops back in it, and he was in a hurry, would be my guess.
No, we try to get out there as quickly, and in this particular one, we didn't even really have time to even, I don't know that we could have got out there before the.
Make farming couldn't be fixed.
Could have been.
What do you guys think?
Well, I think you got it penalty enforced, don't you?
We have one to enforce, and that's kind of the way it's written up, is that, if you blatantly set a fire, that you pretty much knew that. I mean, I suppose you could say that, I don't know how it started, but I don't think with the tape that he's going to say that. I think he's probably going to confess, or at least not make that claim that he
Didn't say anything.
It'd be a pretty tough thing to say that I just didn't do it when he's on tape. Making light of the fact that it might just magically start. But, as dry as it is, if something, and that's why we invoke that, is because it's so dry that not everybody's entirely, their opinion of safe is it varies, and so we thought the only safe thing to do, a lot of them are just banning burning in the county, period. And I don't want to hold people up when they got a real safe situation. I think that's a rather unreasonable approach. It's just an easy approach, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But not necessarily
That's
reasonable.
exactly
So if, unless there's opposition to that, I'll just go ahead and send the gentleman a minimum fine for the response of the deputy.
I believe it. I think so.
I think so too.
I think we gotta send the right message. Just don't make it a huge fine.
No,
It's just a message we're trying to send.
Yeah, and it no more than really covers our deputy's time. We could have been doing something else besides that. I'd ask for an executive session for 5 minutes to visit about non-elected personnel.
That's enough.
10 minutes?
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let's do 10. 10 minutes.
You gotta make a motion to go executive session for 10 minutes for non-elected personnel.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded, we go into executive session for 10 minutes for non-elected personnel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nancy, did you have any response to this issue?
I told the sheriff you wanted to talk to him about it.
Okay. Well, we need a motion for that.
So this is just a new contract taking place, the old contract.
It's revising the.
It says
paragraph.
amendment to the agreement, so it's amendment to the old one we had.
Right.
But I don't understand, it says $15.50 a ton. How much we paying? For each ton?
The original, I don't know. You had,
I don't know, more than 20 something. It was
Maybe they're
$15.50, I
lowering
like
it.
that better. than the
yes,
other.
Nick Quick. I don't know either.
That's what it says, right there.
So they raised it from $13.50 to $15.50. And then in addition, shall pay a monthly solid waste management fee to a sum equal to the solid waste tonnage fee referred to. We computed from month to month. So it's $15.50 plus,
That's what
I
the-
think it's like 22.50.
With all the stuff added together. That's why you're confused. We got
Yeah.
it broke down.
Let me look real quick.
Maybe we ought to get the old contract up, upset in day, do we?
That's what she's looking for, I think.
No, I'm looking to see what you're paying.
And see what
I
the
don't-
old one says, so we.
The old contract would be downstairs.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
I don't think we have a choice.
No, but I'd like to see what the other said, just, sure. Whatever you guys want to do.
this isn't really something we can negotiate, is it?
You pay
Well, I think-
$29 a ton now.
Now.
The what now?
29 a ton. So if they increase it $2, you're gonna pay 31.
So what's $15.50 and?
Yeah, it says $15.50 for each ton of solid waste disposed. In addition, Stafford County shall pay a monthly solid waste management fee persistent to statute 653410 in a sum equal to the solid waste tonnage fee referred to above, as the same shall be computed from month to month.
So you're gonna pay $31.
The solid waste management fee is considered as Stafford County's fair share in the cost of maintenance of the landfill.
So you pay $15.50 for the management fees and $15.50 for the dump fees.
That's what it amounts to, that's what it's saying.
Increase $2.
It increased by $2 from last year.
Okay.
But that's actually a $4, no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make the motion, we accept this addendum to the agreement with Reno County landfill.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded, we accept this addendum to the agreement on the landfill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Anything else?
Will be closed Wednesday,
Just Wednesday.
unless you're gonna do this rest of think it's tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yes,
Thursday would
unfortunately.
be better than.
Thursday would be better, so, any chance of that?
I doubt it.
Okay. We'll just be closed Wednesday.
Wait till next year.
All right,
So, anyway.
well, I'm ready for adjournment. Anything?
Do we hear anything from a roofer?
Yeah, did we find a number, some way we can call or find
I
out?
will. I will make a
Nothing
call.
from the roofer, nothing from Jeff, nothing from, and nothing from Carl and Joe.
I can't believe these people come see you.
This is amazing, really.
Okay.
And
If
I
you
have
call
that
again,
email.
see if you can, do you have the journal's phone number?
Yeah,
Let's go there, Rick.
You're gonna.
I'll make the call.
Well, nothing else, let's adjourn.